State of New California. Notice to all Californians. Chapter 2, Grievance 8, June 16th, 2020. New California is a new state in development exercising its constitutional right to form from the state of California. The process to form New California is authorized and codified in Article 4, Sections 3 and 4 of the United States Constitution. Statement of intent. The citizens of New California have decided to remedy the abuse of power by the government of California by exercising their right to form a new state provided in the United States Constitution, Article 4, Sections 3 and 4. Quote, "We are determined to live under a state government in the United States of America and under the Constitution of the United States." End quote. New California Declaration of Independence, January 15, 2018, states, quote, "Whenever any form of government becomes destructive, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute new government. When a long train of abuses and acts to seize and hold the people's power without legal authority and pursuing invariably the same object that clearly demonstrates a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security." The preamble of the New California State Constitution states, "We, the representatives of the undersigned counties within the state of California, do acknowledge and humbly invoke the favor of Almighty God for continued civil and religious liberty to ourselves and our posterity." The First Amendment of the United States Constitution states, quote, "Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances." End quote. Fourth Amendment of the United States Constitution states, "The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized." The counties of New California State brought forward 95 Chapter 1 grievances between January 2018 and November 2019. On April 28, 2020, New California will issue 95 additional Chapter 2 grievances to be announced in public on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Chapter 2, Grievance Number 8, Declaration of Grievance. Statement of facts. The people of California are suffering from a tyrannical state government which fails to provide a Republican form of governance, enables and supports across its southern border the invasion of the United States of America by illegal foreign nationals, and protects vicious criminals who commit outrageous acts of violence upon the citizens of America, all caused by a government of and for a monoparty system led by a tyrannical dictator who openly defies federal law. California state government is in direct violation of the following. United States Constitution, Article 4, Section 4, quote, "The United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republican form of government, and shall protect each of them against invasion, and on application of the legislature or of the executive when the legislature cannot be convened against domestic violence." United States Constitution, Article 6. "This Constitution and the laws of the United States which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made or which shall be made under the authority of the United States, shall be the supreme law of the land, and the judges in every state shall be bound thereby, anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary notwithstanding." Fourth Amendment of the United States Constitution. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. Order of the day. The dictator yields. The history of the current dictator of California is one characterized by betrayal, treasonous relationships with foreign agents, who has associated himself with known designated terrorists, and has even become an active participant in the effort to overthrow this state and this nation. After 25 years of denial by the California State Legislature, there are now desperate cries coming from the state capitol for help. Help has been found in the county superior courts. Katie Grimes from Cal Globe reported in part, quote, "A Sutter County Superior Court judge granted a temporary block on California governor's executive order that requires all registered California voters to receive a mail-in ballot for the upcoming November election. 2 California assemblymen were granted a temporary restraining order against the governor, suspending Executive Order N 6720 regarding the conduct of elections, and further restrains him from exercising any further legislative powers in violation of the California Constitution and applicable statute, specifically from unilaterally amending, altering, or changing existing statutory law or making new statutory law." End quote. Quote, "Among other things, the governor's unlawful executive order deprived Californians with disabilities of their statutory right to participate in election planning through a publicly noticed meeting. A legislative process will let us hear from the disability community. This is a victory for separation of powers. The governor has continued to issue orders without public input and without the deliberative process provided by the legislature. Today, the judicial branch finally gave him the check that was needed and that the Constitution requires." Monday, the Sacramento Bee, end quote. Monday, the Sacramento Bee published a column titled "Hypocrisy Check. Those Republicans fighting the governor on vote by mail, that's how they vote. The beef by the bee is the assemblyman vote by mail. Is that assemblyman vote by mail? That apparently makes them hypocrites for suing the governor over his order forcing every California voter to vote by mail. When the governor signed the executive order requiring every voter in the state to vote by mail in the November 2020 election, he bragged that he was the first governor in the country to do this. Quote, "The governor boasts California is the first state to make this change." End quote. One of the assemblymen tweeted, quote, "Perhaps that's because other states are still functioning democracies where new laws need to pass a legislature." End quote. The op-ed is evidence provided by the impartial legislative analysis and the legislature that the governor has usurped all power and authorities from the legislative branch of government into the executive branch. This now means there are only 2 branches of government in the state, the executive and the judicial." End quote. The California governor is still a pusillanimous, craven dictator whose words and actions are still a grave danger to all U.S. citizens living in California. While this lawsuit is a desperate attempt to right a single wrong, it's still too little and too late to undo all the damage of the monoparty communist state in California. It is a failed state operating outside the authority of the U.S. Constitution, violating Articles 4, Section 4, and Article 6. For New Californians, it is our God-given right, it is our duty to protect our Declaration of Independence, our Constitution, and our Bill of Rights with all means necessary from a craven dictator. We request an audience with the President and the Congress of these United States to plead our plight and consider the remedy to these abuses by the establishment of the new California state. Insurrection. The government of California, the current socialist governor and monoparty system, along with the local officials, are following a coordinated design with the intent to actively engage in acts of insurrection against the U.S. Constitution. The Insurrection Act of 1807 and the Emergency Economic Powers Act are the United States federal laws that govern the ability of the President of the United States to deploy military troops within the United States to put down lawlessness, insurrection, and rebellion. Acts of secession. Therefore, the California government, in conjunction with the socialist state executive, instituted wherever the current socialist governor has usurped power, has created a reign of terror on United States citizens living in California with the intent to secede from the United States of America and thus destroy the very union of states which secures our liberty and freedom. Abdication of authority. Betrayal by the sitting socialist governor of California, the monoparty legislature, and local elected officials is evidence of abdication of their responsibilities of authority and sovereignty over the state and citizens of the United States living in California. Prayer. The citizens of New California State pray for the President to exercise his authority under the Insurrection Act of 1807 or the Emergency Economic Powers Act to end the tyranny being foisted upon the United States citizens living in California State. This concludes these proceedings. NewCaliforniaState.com. Phone number 877-828-2753.